Think about a time before smartphones, when calling loved ones required using a payphone or a landline. Take a trip down memory lane as we unearth long-forgotten historical artifacts. Families would congregate in front of the television in the days before streaming services, tweaking the rabbit ear antennas to find the clearest signal. A dramatic contrast to the computerized playlists of today. Vinyl records playing on turntables filled the air with the lovely melodies of the past. The go-to device for writers and secretaries was the basic typewriter with its rhythmic clatter and ink-stained ribbons. There is a nostalgic feeling that can only be produced by holding a tangible photograph in your hands rather than using digital photographs for convenience. Remember when we used disposable film cameras to capture moments and excitedly awaited the appearance of the processed photos? Reminiscences of the early days of online discovery are triggered by the recognizable sound of a dial-up modem connecting to the internet. Rediscover the pleasure of sending meaningful, personally written letters to pen pals around the world. Restoration efforts by antique car enthusiasts help to save a piece of automotive history. Each artifact recalls a time when life was simpler and relationships were valued. Significant decades that saw the launch and widespread use of numerous products and technology include the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. While some of these objects have endured the test of time and are still in widespread use today, others have been superseded by more sophisticated counterparts or have simply lost their utility. Slide projectors were in use for presentations and displaying pictures from slides until they were supplanted by digital projectors in the 1960s and 1970s. Older cars have manual window cranks that were used to raise or lower the windows. Televisions using a cathode ray tube, CRT, were large, heavy, and the norm until the 1990s, when flat-screen TVs gained popularity. Telephones with rotary dials. The majority of telephones featured rotary dials in the 1950s and 1960s. Before the popularity of digital cinema, movies were screened using film projectors. Vinyl flooring. Although it is still available, mid-century homes tended to utilize vinyl flooring more frequently. 8-track tapes. Cassette tapes forerunners that were widely used in the 1960s and 1970s. Betamax videotapes were introduced in the middle of the 1970s. However, they fell short against VHS in the competition for VCR formats. Before the popularity of automatic drip coffee makers, manual coffee percolators were a common method of brewing coffee. Fax machines were far more common in the 1980s and 1990s. However, they are now only sometimes used. Encyclopedias. Before the internet, physical sets of encyclopedias were frequently used for research. Vinyl car seats. Compared to today's fabric and leather alternatives, vinyl upholstery was more common in older cars. Walkman cassette players. Before digital music became widely used, Walkman cassette players enabled for portable music listening. Before the advent of digital cinema, films were projected in theaters using film reels. Instant photo printing was available with Polaroid cameras before the advent of digital photography. Film canisters. Prior to the widespread use of digital photography, these were used to store and protect camera film. Before photocopiers and digital scanners, typewritten papers were copied on carbon paper. The fact that some of these things have sentimental or collector value and some have seen a rebirth among enthusiasts or in niche markets is significant, even though they may not be as widely utilized now. We appreciate you coming along on our time travel adventure. Keep in mind to subscribe to our channel for more surprises on nostalgia. Thank you for viewing.